Hey, welcome back. So I've just opened Unity with a fresh scene and just going to make a couple little changes before we get started dragging. Firstly, I would change this to a solid color that just helps with rendering speeds and draw calls on your mobile device, which just means it keeps it more simple for your processors, so you're not having to work so hard. And the other one is just to make sure that your camera is in orthographic. That just means that it's not taking perspective into account. And this one we won't need at the moment, so it will recreate once we create a canvas anyway. So okay, so this is our nice shiny fresh screen. So let's go about adding some artwork. So to do that, you can either click on Game Object, UI, Image, or as a shortcut you can actually right click on this hierarchy panel and go to UI, Image. I think using shortcuts is actually a lot nicer. So here we just need to zero out the values, and now we need to attach the main camera to this canvas, and that's very easy to do. By attaching the main camera to the canvas, it means that this canvas size will scale with whatever device is looking at it. So whether it's a portrait or landscape, this will control the whole functionality of the resizing of the canvas. So very good to have. The other thing we need to look at is the constant pixel size, and that relates to the safe area that we were just working in Photoshop with. So we'll set that to the same aspect ratio as the Photoshop file. So that's going to be 1920 by 1080. Whoops. Good. And let's get some images in here so we can see what we're doing. I think for now we'll just try with the aspect ratio so we can test out the screen size. So to put a new image into this image, we actually need to convert the data to a readable form. So if we go to Default, Sprite 2D, and Apply, and that means it will become visible and we can select it and put it inside the objects. We need to preserve the aspect ratio and set it to native size, and that just means that it's the size that you drew it. And just double check that the width and height are the same as this, and we might just scale this down a little bit, so just to get it the right size, I'll just put it on 16 by 9 first. 8, 7, 7. Oh, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so what we can see here is this canvas size, which will be the size that the view sees, is stretching out nearly to the edges of the artwork but not going over the edge, and that's great because as soon as it goes over the edge we will start to have trouble. So you'll get a black screen or those black bars, which are not really acceptable these days. People expect to have artwork, so try to avoid that happening. Let's test it with a few other devices just to make sure we're not getting trouble. Okay, so here on the 4x3 you can see that we would be getting black bars, and we really don't want that to be happening. So let's have a look at how to fix that. So here you'll notice that there's a match screen mode, and what this does is it takes into consideration the width and height, and you can tell Unity that you want to either favor the width of the device, so the artwork would try and stay on the sides, or you could say that you want it to scale upwards, so vertically or horizontally. So in this case we would like it to be probably around here. Just do a little bit more testing just to make sure that that's going to work. So that's looking pretty good. that's scaling pretty nicely. You can see the cut off safety margin lines, so it's pretty good. And great, so we're pretty much ready to start putting some buttons in. Before we do that, we might just change this artwork around. So we'll go to the main screen, and again, if it's not already done, just convert it over, choose your image and drag your sprite into the source image. And from here we can put a new button in. So click on the canvas and put your little button in there. I need my glasses. And okay, so we can resize the button here using these little blue pins, but actually it's not going to matter if we're using an image. So let's just zoom up on it. You can double click on anything you want to zoom on. And before I put an image in, I'll just show you a little trick with the text. So no matter what size the button is and whatever resolution, you can always tell it to have a best fit, which is, you know, really handy. You can also resize and move the text around inside of the button and resize the button itself by using the pins also. So you'll see that it's trying to get the best fit for that size of the box. So anyway, we're not going to use text, so we're going to delete that layer as well, and we'll put a sprite inside of the image there. So here's my button, drag that into the sprite layer, and also make sure that it's set to native size and preserves the aspect ratio. That way the image won't distort. Still not 100% sure about this image, but in any case we'll just use it for now. So what have we got there? Well, let me see. So next we need to actually make sure that that button works, and because I haven't set the anchor points properly, we're going to have a little trouble, but it's important that you see, important that you see how the anchor points behave. So you'll notice that the edge and distance of the button to the edge is actually not working properly. Like in this screen, it actually gets cut off, and we really don't want that to happen. So we can fix that very easily by positioning it on the canvas how we want it to be, and then using the rec transform preset anchors. And Unity's done a great job here of, just zoom out a bit so we can see what they're doing. So you'll be able to see where the anchors are going to align on these presets. So we just want to choose this bottom corner and test it again just to make sure that it's working nicely. And you should see that it keeps a nice consistent distance between the edge. Okay, great. So that's where we're going to leave this video. In the next one we're going to add some functionality to make the buttons work. So I'll see you in the next one, and thanks for joining me.